I mean, Caitlyn to the ground, and ooh, that's a...
Oh, hell no. I know just who to call. I know just who to call for your ass.
911, what's your emergency?
There's a wild thug on the loose in Indiana. There's a thug that plays for the Phoenix Mercury, a goon named Alyssa Thomas. She goes by the name Alyssa Thomas. You need to go arrest this thug. She tried to murder a lady named Caitlin Clark on the basketball court. She tried to punch her in the...
What began as yet another controversial moment during the game has now taken an unexpected and dramatic turn. After a tense confrontation involving Alyssa Thomas and Caitlin Clark appeared to go completely unaddressed by the officials, reports claim that an official police report is now part of the story, leaving fans demanding explanations. But what really happened that triggered such a serious reaction? Did the referees overlook something, choose to ignore it, or was there more happening behind the scenes? And could this incident end up changing the future of the WNBA forever?
That is it. Tonight is where I draw the line. WNBA, if you do not review what happened to Caitlin Clark, I am going to non-stop talk about this until the end of my days. The Indiana Fever go down in their rematch against the Phoenix Mercury. I don't even care about that because much bigger things are at play. It was expected to be a big game. After the melee that ensued a couple of days ago between the two teams, multiple texts were called, ejections. It was just really high tense. You could cut it with a knife. Ergo, I expected this game to be called very tight whistle. Any player hits the floor, watch like a hawk. And in my lives, I do sometimes talk about there are two players in the league that I don't particularly care for, but I never want to say who they are because I want to be able to call their game fairly and acknowledge how good they are on the court, and I never will.
The Indiana Fever and Phoenix Mercury were expected to deliver nothing more than an exciting regular season matchup. However, the game may have unexpectedly turned into the newest chapter of what is quickly becoming one of the biggest and most controversial stories across the entire WNBA.
About it, Alyssa Thomas driving her fist into Caitlin Clark's neck. The ball is out of the play at this point in time. All right, so I don't care who it is. You know, at the minimum, you know, it's a flagrant 2. I think it warrants a suspension, especially because of, you know, when you do factor in the context and the history. Because let's be real about it. This clip is...
When the game finally came to an end, very few people were focused on the final score. No one was discussing offensive strategies. No one was analyzing defensive adjustments. Almost nobody seemed interested in talking about who knocked down the biggest shot of the evening.
Caitlin Clark gets kneed in the groin, punched in the throat. Alyssa Thomas puts all of her body weight on her to stand up after falling to the ground, punching her and kneeing her in the groin. No foul gets called, they play on. Caitlin Clark shoots a 3. A player on the Phoenix Mercury gets into her landing space. Caitlin Clark comes down on her foot, no flagrant called. Caitlin Clark comes up, holding her back.
Instead, the entire basketball community locked its attention on one controversial moment involving Caitlin Clark and Alyssa Thomas. Single plays spread across social media within minutes, quickly igniting heated debates about officiating, player safety, and whether the WNBA is facing a growing issue that can no longer be pushed aside or ignored.
After such a dirty play in this game, Alyssa Thomas needs to be checked. And I am absolutely not the only person that feels this way. I went on social media after the game, and it is like hellfire calling for the WNBA to review this play. Caitlin Clark goes down. Alyssa Thomas goes down, knees her in the groin on the way down, a known area of injury for Caitlin Clark. Okay, maybe that wasn't completely intentional. Didn't look great to me personally, but here's where it gets really wild. Alyssa Thomas has a fist on Caitlin Clark's arm. She has 2 fists. She slides it down, pins Caitlin down by the throat, finally gets up, and she steps over her. That step over told the entire thing. It was dirty. It was intentional. Absolutely should not go undiscussed. WNBA needs to review.
The response from fans was immediate and intense. Some called for the league to step in, while others insisted the situation reflected a much deeper issue than a single controversial play. The conversation quickly moved beyond basketball and turned toward accountability, with the officials becoming the center of attention instead of the game itself. That is exactly where this story takes another dramatic turn. Because in the eyes of many fans, this was not a one-time mistake. They viewed it as the latest chapter in a pattern that has followed Caitlin Clark ever since she entered the WNBA, pattern that continues to raise the same question time after time. Why do so many of the league's most physical moments involving its biggest star keep ending in controversy? The play occurred during an intense matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Phoenix Mercury. First, it appeared to be nothing more than another hard-fought sequence in a league known for its physical style and competitive nature. After all, basketball is a contact sport, and every player accepts that physical play is part of the game. But once slow-motion replays began spreading online, many viewers noticed details they believed the officials had failed to recognize. Within a matter of hours, videos of the play had flooded social media, sports communities, and basketball discussion forums. Fans watched the footage repeatedly, examining it frame by frame from every available angle in an effort to understand exactly what had happened. Analysts debated the sequence, former players shared their opinions, and sports personalities across multiple platforms offered their own interpretations of the controversial moment.
Oh yes, this is it. Oh yes, this is it right here. I got you a like. Get 200 likes up. This is the footage. This is the video. This video has not been released at all. This is what happened right before Caitlin Clark went out of the game.
Pick up the tech tonight, 5th of the season.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I got a technical for clapping. So, like, if we should all just go on the calendar now and pick a game that I'm going to be suspended for if I'm going to get technicals for clapping. I asked Gerda. Gerda said that I got a technical for clapping. So, if any technical should be taken away, it should be that one. If it's truly for clapping, that's what they said they gave it to me for was for clapping.
As is often the case in modern sports, the conversation quickly grew beyond the game itself. Social media turned a single controversial moment into a nationwide debate, transforming what could have been an ordinary post-game discussion into one of the biggest stories in women's basketball. The reaction was driven not only by the physical contact during the play, but by the fact that officials chose not to call a foul. That decision became the center of attention. Fans understand that referees are human and that mistakes happen, especially in a fast-paced professional game where split-second decisions are required. However, many Caitlin Clark supporters believe she has been officiated differently from other players. They point to several moments throughout her career where similar contact against her went uncalled. On the other hand, critics argue that Clark is simply facing the physical nature of professional basketball, just as many star players before her have experienced.
Threes are terrible, but the worst part of all of this, Caitlin Clark got kneed in the groin, throat punched, landing space no call, and Stephanie White sat there on the sidelines with her arms crossed, tweaking, sniffing, twitching away. This is a coach that said, I ride with Caitlin Clark. Stephanie White, you ride with Alyssa Thomas. You ride with DeWanna Bonner. You don't ride with the CC22. You wish you did. You want people to think that you do, but